Thank you all for joining us today. Obviously, you're joined to the Reflecting 2025 Virtual Awards Ceremony. You're joined today by myself. I'm Amani Freeman, the Exhibitions Manager for the Maryland Federation of Art, and Juliana Oakes will be running point from Circle Gallery today. So just a few words on MFA and what we do. We're a visual arts nonprofit organization. We host more than 40 exhibitions every year. Our main mission is to make connections in the local, international, and online communities through art, with exhibits and events in Circle Gallery here in Annapolis, numerous alternative venues throughout Maryland, and online as well. We provide artists of all genres, medias, and backgrounds with the opportunity to exhibit work selected by professionally credentialed jurors and to be recognized as well with monetary awards. You don't have to be a member to join our exhibitions. We like to really open it up and allow people of all walks of life and opportunities to join. But members do have several advantages, some of which being that they have lesser entry fees, they have access to networking and additional exhibition opportunities. If you're interested in learning and about becoming a member, please visit our membership page on our website, mdfedart.com/membership. A few words on the exhibition that we're going over today, Reflecting 2025. If you all have been with us for a few years, this was Reflections, but over the last year we made a slight tweak to kind of incorporate a few more ideals that we thought would better represent us as an organization and the exhibition as a whole. So, this year we invited all artists residing in any of the states and or territories of the US, Canada, and Mexico to enter this exhibition. All original 2D and 3D works were considered, and the works that have been selected are currently on display and will be on display from March 26th to April 26th. On that day, which we will have a closing reception from 4 to 6 p.m. at the gallery, and we'd love if you all could join us. So yeah. And today we're joined by our juror, Joey P. Mánlapaz. She is a contemporary realist painter, and she holds a Master of Fine Arts from George Washington University. She's an accomplished painter, as well as educator, curator, and juror of art exhibitions. She is also an advocate for the elderly through her artwork. She is a recipient, of numerous prestigious commissions, grants, and fellowships throughout her career. Some of her exhibitions are widely acclaimed paintings and prints showcased in galleries and museums in the U.S. and abroad, papers, correspondence, and sketchbooks, which are housed in the U.S. Library of Congress, and she has a permanent installation in the Bethesda Metro Tunnel right here in Maryland. Her realistic portrayals of the urban landscape seek to bridge Richard-esque objective photorealism and the profound psychological sensibility of Edward Rapa via approaches including surreal air, saturated color, and contrasting interplay of light and shadow. And now at this point, I'm going to hand over the floor to our juror, and she's going to say a few words in introduction.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's a beautiful day outside, and I'm sure you'd rather be outside enjoying the warm weather. So thank you so much for sitting around and listening to me this afternoon. So I am so thankful and honored to be juror once again at Maryland Federation of Art. I've juried shows here before. And this in particular, the theme was very interesting to me because, as you can see from my artwork behind me, it is exactly what I do, is reflections on glass windows. However, the fact that the theme itself for this particular show is called Reflecting, I was impressed by the different variety of interpretations of that word, reflecting. So it was interesting to me and very challenging to go through 406 entries. That was a lot of entries to go through. And to whittle it down to the best 65 pieces was extremely, extremely challenging because there were so many pieces that were worthy of inclusion in the show, but unfortunately we can't fit everything in the gallery. So I guess what you would ask me is, how do I select the works out of all of those entries. First and foremost is that your artwork, which is represented through your image that you send for the competition, has to be crystal clear, number one. And number two is that I hope that you don't show me half of your sofa or half of your window around your work. So your presentation counts a lot because presentation it speaks loudly when in terms of representation of your work. I teach at the I used to teach at the Corcoran College of Art and Design at GW, George Washington University, but now I teach at George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. And I always am a stickler for presentation when it comes to having my students give in their homeworks. And if there's any little bit of smudge on their work, then that counts against them. So I try to incorporate that kind of thematic scheme in my drawing process. And in addition to that, of course, is the fact that the artist understands their medium of choice. Because it's very evident. There are some that are kind of tentative in terms of how to use their choice of medium, whether it be painting in oil, painting in acrylics or watercolors. I can tell whether the artist is confident enough to render the theme successfully or not. So that's number two. And number three, and it's probably the most important of all of the factors that I consider when jurying any kind of work, is the message. What are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell your viewers? So the message is very important. And I had to look through many different media, whether it be paintings, prints, photographs, collages, sculpture. All of them say something, and I'm hoping that they do. And the ones that spoke to me the best and was clear, that those were the ones that were chosen for this particular exhibition. So reflecting means a lot of different things. It could be literally reflections like what I do, or it could be reflecting as in, your thought processes. What are you reflecting on? Whether you're reflecting on life, you're reflecting on your, situation that we're in today in politics, in the world. What are you trying to reflect in your work? And some are also very literal in terms of reflections on water. So that's another way of showing the theme. Also, not only is the message important, but also what is your technique? And why did you choose the process of making your art, whether it's realistic or whether it's abstract or somewhere in between. Also, whether it's going to be colorful or monochromatic, because a lot of you submitted monochromatic work, whether it's black and white or shades of gray. So the movement of your piece, the message that you're trying to convey, whether you executed it extremely well, I can tell whether your medium of choice is something that you're confident with. And the 65 pieces that are exhibited in this exhibition are exemplary in those aspects that I just reiterated. So shall we move to the first slide? Okay, so this particular piece was very interesting to me. The artist Jack, it's very abstract piece. It reminds me of Franz Klein, who did a lot of paintings in black and white. It also actually expresses to me that the times of our political situation in the world today. It's anonymous, You know, nobody knows who these people are. It's extremely anonymous, but the design is very interesting to me. The positive shape and the negative shape combined together is very unique in the way it was presented. Also, when you crop your work, you know, that is the essence of the composition, right? How do you crop your work? So I'll explain more in terms of what I mean by the anonymity of people today in our political environment. Oh, so okay. So this particular piece speaks to my heart because it's a reflection on glass. I imagine it's a reflection in a window. And William represented in this particular painting a variety of diversity, right? We see different kinds of, you know, races and different religions, different people, and it is representative of what America is all about. America is all about, you know, at least we'd like to think that it is all about the all different kinds of people getting along with each other. And here they are I assume they're at a restaurant, they're having a meal, and they're all in one place. So in terms of the technique, I like the fact that it's watercolor. So watercolor for me is very difficult. I teach watercolor also, and it's probably the most difficult medium because it's unforgiving, I think. And the way William presented the work in such clarity and the fact that you can actually see the reflections on glass is a really very well done piece. And you see the people inside the window and what's reflected on the window, very much like what I do in my own work. Okay, so this particular piece really caught my eye because I feel that this is collectively how we as Americans feel at the moment. At least this is how I feel at the moment. Like I feel like I'm restrained. I can't speak. I can't see. I am bound by all of this wrappings around my essence. My very person is prevented from seeing and experiencing and being who I am. So it's very apropos for today's climate in terms of our politics. And I feel that there's a lot of restraint, censorship, and fear about who you are, who we are, who you love, who you represent. You can't speak because there's no freedom of speech. So this particular piece is very powerful. And I don't know if this is what Sampy, what his message was, but whether I'm on point in my interpretation of the work. But this is one of the most powerful pieces that I saw in the collection. Okay, so this piece, it's an archival photographic pigment print. I like this because there is sort of like what do you call that? A fight between beauty, which is the sky and the trees around, and detritus, the algae, the you know all of that green stuff that's floating on the water. So to me, it's you know it's accepting those who are different from us. Or you know, again, these are my interpretations, and like I said, I would love to speak with some of the artists who I selected for this particular awards ceremony because I'd like to know if that is exactly what they mean. So this is not only a good photograph, but it also means something underneath all of that. the green stuff, which is, really icky stuff on the surface of the water. But underneath all of that, you see it's a little optimistic, right? There's optimism in the piece. You see the blue sky in between and around all of that algae, and you see the tree starting to probably bloom all around that. So it's a very nice contradiction within one piece. All right, so this particular medium is pigment print on Japanese paper. So what I tried to do in my selection is try to get the best of whatever medium. I didn't select all paintings, I didn't select all prints, but a variety of media. And this in particular was very interesting to me. Again, the anonymity of people. We are all very social beings, right? We like to know our neighbors, at least we should. We like our friends to be around, but this in particular, there's a shadow of a person that we don't see. So the white shadow, which is in contrast, it's interpolated. So the shadow is not dark, but the area around the shadow is darker. So the shadow itself is light. And then there is this, I assume, a person with a long coat. It is also casting a shadow to the left, upper, in the middle of the picture. So the anonymity of people nowadays is because we're all glued to our phones, we're all doing our apps, we're all doing our Facebook and our Instagram, and we forget that there are people around us that we probably should be saying hello to and getting to know. So this is another powerful piece because it exemplifies the distances between and among people in general. And I'm not saying that media is a bad thing, but we also have to kind of be cognizant of the fact that we are neighbors to other people as well. So I was impressed by this particular piece. First of all, it seems like it's enormous. It's very tall. I like the assemblage. It's a mixed media collage of different items. I'd like to see it in person to see what actually was applied for this piece. I like the color, the balance, I don't know, because I can't see it very closely. I don't know if there are messages with the words that are imprinted on the collage. But in terms of balance and the color scheme, it works very well. It's a very fine piece, and I like the fact that it's a vertical. The yellow and the blue, I guess, is a Ukraine, the Ukrainian color. I don't know. That's part of the message there. And the black around the yellow and the blue, which is the colors of the flag of Ukraine, it's menacing. It's a little kind of disturbing, isn't it? But because it's a work of art, it kind of is, if you don't look at it closely, you don't really see it right away until you delve into what is actually there. The colors, the balance, and the composition. So it's very, very interesting piece. So I like this photography. It's a digital photography by Judith. I guess the thinker at the end of this, I think it's I don't know if that's tube that you're looking through. There's a thinker at the end, sort of like a take on Auguste Rodin's The Thinker. And I don't know if it's exactly the same kind of the formation of the thinker itself. But I like the composition because it's almost telescopic, right? There's this long tube that you're looking through, And then at the end of that tube, you see this magnificent view of a city, I guess, with the tall buildings and the thinker thinking about, oh, the world, what's going on with the world. It's very interesting that that particular thinker is on top of that pole. So anyway, it's he's contemplating on what's going on around him. So again, another political statement. So I like political statements, and I just finished a piece myself that is reminiscent of the all the chaos that happened during the George Floyd um, incident 2 or 3 years ago. And let me tell you something. If you show protest art like this artist has done, Christine, you're taking a chance. You're taking a big chance of showing these placards that these protesters are holding in their hands, because not everybody would take it very well. So if you read it closely, then you'll see what I mean. In my own experience, having the George Floyd, the Black Lives Matter, I have a very huge piece, 5 feet by 4 feet painting of all the placards that the protesters were holding in protest of the death of George Floyd. And it's a controversial in the sense that there's not that many people who would like it. So I expressly included this in the show because I wanted to show my support for this artist who bravely showed these words on these placards, and they're not pretty. So I liked it for that reason. And also the way that I think these are mostly women who are represented in this particular piece. It's mixed media. I don't know exactly what that means with the mixed media. I imagine it's part painting, it's part something else, but it's a very good composition. There's a full view of this person, this woman in front, and she is not happy. She's not happy. And this is a statement. There is a message here, and that is in my book very good, on point. So this is my choice for oil paintings, and it's a beautiful rendition of the sky. And again, this is a reflection of the beautiful sunset on the water. So it has a beautiful way of showing the magnificence of the sky when we see the sunset and the fieriness of the sunset. Um, all in all, the technique was well done. I'd like to see it in person. And unfortunately, it's a little small for me. It's 18 by 20, 18 by 14 for such an expansive theme. So I'd like to see this in a much larger format, and it'll have a little bit more of a magnificent, majestic effect. So the reflection is literal, the reflection of the sky on the water. Okay, so first place is a woman after my heart again. Stacy did a wonderful rendition of New York, and if you notice the title of the piece, NYC/CYN. I don't know if you got that. It's a reflection of the letters, right? So literally, it's a reflection on glass. And again, a tour de force in terms of using the medium of watercolor on paper. It's very difficult first of all, even in oils where you can, fudge up your mistakes and you can cover it up with another layer of paint. But in watercolor, it's a little difficult to cover your mistakes. So I gave Stacy the first place for the perfection of her medium, of this difficult watercolor medium, and the effect that it's giving, which is a 1 point perspective. All of the lines lead to the very end. The composition is very well done, and all in all, it was a very good piece.
Okay, lovely. Thank you so much for your insights. Everyone, this is just a page that has all the awards. As you all know, we upload this video to YouTube just so we have all the awards in one place. And then the next slide will just have a general kind of collage, not of all the awarded pieces. Some of them are awards, but just a general collage of the images in the show, so y'all can have a better idea of what's on display. Um, and now we've arrived at my favorite part, is trying to tease some dialogue out of you all. I know that we have a lot of the award winners here. If you want to say anything, question, comment, just to say thanks, now is the time. And I'll just say one word kind of to start to open the dialogue, because the person that I wanted to ask is not here. But the piece, the vertical piece that you liked, he actually is from Ukraine, and he stopped
Oh,
in the gallery on Friday, and I got to talk to him a bit about his piece, and it was reflecting a lot of what you were saying. I mean, he kind of got inspiration from post-war art and just kind of an amalgamation of a lot of different things that kind of go together. Yep, Julie, that piece exactly. And I mentioned, I said, well, your heritage is Ukraine. Did you use the colors purposefully? And he said, it started off as not that, but then he said, kind of like you said, the political climate, it's something that he wanted to represent within his work. So it's just interesting that you picked up on that, and he kind of mirrored that sentiment when I spoke to him. But yeah, I mean, I know a lot of like Sampy is in here, and I would really love to hear from them in terms of their piece, because you mentioned how, as of today, it's how you feel just in the political climate, how we're kind of stifled by what we can say, can't say, and we're kind of bound by all these different things. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, if anyone is here that wants to say a few words on their work or just to comment, say thanks, now is the time. So you can unmute, you can drop it in the chat, feel free.
This is Marcia Babler, and Joey, thank you so much. I did Walking Away, and I really appreciate your words and your impressions of what you got from that piece, because it always is great to hear what the viewer thinks. It's the way I interpreted the theme was change causes reflection, and this is a layering approach that I did. It's printed on Japanese paper, so the ink absorbs. So you were mentioning the shadows. I wanted to get ghost-like reflections. And what I was trying, one of the messages I was trying to get, I love your impression, the message, was that as we leave one relationship to another, we leave part of ourself behind. And that could be, so it's from that personal standpoint. So that's what I was, any rates. But thank you so much. I really am very, very honored and happy to be part of the show. And MFA does such a great job, and they're so supportive of the artist. And thank you so much for the award, Joey.
Hi, this is Jennifer Tallarico. Thank you, Joey, for just the honor. I'm just ecstatic. And I want to say to all the others, what an incredible group of pieces of art. I mean, some of your comments about some of them was just, when I looked at them, I thought they were very powerful as well. And I will take it to heart about doing bigger pieces. So, but I also wanted to say, you had talked a little bit about some of the pieces being political. And I had actually been working on some stuff that's quite political. And then I needed to get away from it. It's sort of like a bad car crash, and you just got to get away from it. And that was sort of the inspiration for my sunset. I needed the brightness and the colors to get away from, all the uh, environment that we're in right now. So it's in an indirect way, it sort of ties into some of the other pieces, because I needed to get away from that. But thank you to the MFA and all of you, all the other folks in the exhibit. Can't wait to see it in person. So thanks again.
Hi, I'm Stacy Lund Levy, and I'm delighted. Thank you very much for including me in the show and the award. I'm
Oh, hi.
beyond delighted. I have a question for you, because your Black Matters Lives Matter piece, did you get a lot of blowback from that? Because I've done some, but I haven't shown them some protest stuff.
Yeah, for the most part. So most of my collectors are corporate. They're not really
Oh, yeah.
individual people. So the corporate collectors are not keen on reading those words. And I said, well, they're not my words. They're, they're protest placards. I didn't write them. I
Right.
was painting them. But it doesn't matter. So it's I'm having difficulty trying to exhibit it and finding a collector who might want to have it.
Huh.
But it is a little large, well, quite large, 5 feet by
Yeah.
5 feet tall. It's bigger than me. It's 5 feet tall and about 5 or 6 feet wide. So it's really in your face kind of, reading all these really very controversial words. So yeah, so it's brave, and it's a far departure from what I normally do. I normally do, just regular stuff. Cityscapes is what I specialize in. And the reflections is one of my themes that I devoted about 14 years of my life to doing just that. But now I'm I can't even begin to tell you how, that what we're going through right now is just unbelievable. And there's no way as an artist that you're not affected by any of this, not one iota of we reflect what's around us. We are artists. Whether you want to be political or not, it's going to affect your work, because it's a mental thing, right? You read about this, you see it, you can't get away from it, in other words. So somehow that political environment that we're living in seeps into your work, whether you like it or not. If you're a good artist and you're a feeling artist, if you are a sensitive artist, it somehow is going to get to you. And there are ways of dealing with that, like what I'm sorry, I forgot her name. It was a Jennifer who did the sunset. Okay, but either you do that, or you really delve into it. Just do it. And you know what? I always say to my students, there's a lid for every pot. And you know what?
Yes.
Someday somebody out there is gonna like your work. It's just gonna sit and simmer for a while in your studio.
Exactly. Yes. Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to Amani.
Yeah, of course. No, it's always nice to just have a bit of dialogue back and forth, and especially I think now in the climate that we're in, it's important. I think like Joey said, you can do reflections on the water to kind of get away from it, or you can, like Miss Christine Rapa, really dive into it and put hands on it and, get to the nitty gritty. And it doesn't take away from either one, but I think it's important discussions to have, and I'm grateful that these are platforms that we can do that on.
I would like to thank the juror, because I thought her comments were spot on, and her interpretations of her pieces really reflected, in my piece at least, what I was trying to put forward with the thinker in the reflections, because this piece was in Yes, it was in Madrid in their modern architecture area called the Four Towers, the Cuatro Torres. And this piece is by a Spanish architect of Simeon who lived in 390 AD, very old, and he wanted to conjure the thinker, which I immediately thought of. But I was looking through the letter O for a sign for one of the big buildings there. And I looked through there and I just said, oh my gosh, look at the reflections of the modern building. So I like the juxtaposition of old and new and the colors. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And congratulations to the other people with awards. And thank you, Amani and the gallery.
Yes, thank you also. Thank you to the juror, not only for the selection, but for just taking time to look through around like 400 artworks and to respect each applicant enough to like put in obviously like the serious thought that you put into each work. Spending the time with them. It's just I think whether you won an award, no matter what award you won, even if you didn't win an award, it feels good to be respected in that way and taken seriously in that way. So I do appreciate it greatly.
I think William hit it on the head. I think we have a juror who I'm really grateful for, and she's very adept at capturing reflections and reflecting, whether it be political, whether it be literal or metaphorical. Um, Clearly, she's very insightful and knowledgeable on not just art techniques, but just the world around us, and is very in tune. So I think that it really lined up well. When we were planning the show calendar, we didn't necessarily think, oh, reflecting months after, and we'd know that we'd be in this situation, but I think that it worked out exactly how it was supposed to work out, and I'm very grateful for that. And to all the artists who submitted work, like William said, whether you got an honorable mention or a first, second, third place award, or even were just selected, I think that it's a really good process to go through as an artist to kind of put yourself out there. And if it didn't work out this time, I think in life, if you don't go, you don't know. So I think you just keep trying, even if you didn't get in, if you didn't get an award. Like Miss Joey said, someone out there is gonna like your work, or sometimes it's gonna simmer in your studio for a little bit. But it doesn't take away from the work in and of itself. So I think keep putting work out there, please. Keep spreading your messages and just keep doing what you do. We're very grateful for all of you for working with us and for submitting to MFA, and we hope to see you all in the gallery if possible. If not, shoot us a comment on Instagram, drop us a comment on YouTube. Like I said, the closing reception is the 26th from 4 to 6. If you all could join us, we would really, really greatly appreciate that. We could, see you, to celebrate your work, share a word with you. Ms. Joey, if you want to say anything at this point, just in closing, now's your opportunity.
Well, congratulations to everybody who got in. Congratulations to everybody, all the 65 artists pieces who I really admired. If you didn't get in, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. It happens. That doesn't mean you stop trying. So you submit your work as much as possible. You put your work out there to the world. You can't just keep it to yourself. That's being selfish. So you take a nice picture of it, or hire somebody to take a nice picture of it, and you enter it to as many competitions as you can. And sooner or later, it's gonna hit. So congratulations again, and it was an honor to be juror for your work.
Yeah, no, like she said, keep putting yourself out there. Um, just keep creating. That's all we can do. So, in conclusion, thank you all so much for your time, for spending part of your afternoon with us. It's a beautiful day outside. Hopefully, where you are, it's beautiful as well. Go get some sun, go get some fresh air, and thank you all so much, and have a great rest of your Sunday. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.